Hey everyone, Cahlen here. I've got my phone attached to my bike here. I have the little thing that can hold on to the phone pretty securely that I had a long time ago that I found in the bottom of my stuff. So I put it on here so that, I can show you some footage while I'm actually driving the bike without me holding it like this. And anyways, I'm going on a multi-day trip, just backpacking, exploring the area, and there's some water that I'd like to go down to and see, what's down there. Basically a lot of a river that runs year-round, which doesn't look like many people would really visit. And I'm taking a county road, so the map tells me to take a county road. And I don't know if you can see, well, I'll turn the camera around in a second, but you'll see this is what they call a county road around here. Okay, so you can see it's basically just a wash, which is a dried up creek, which is almost always dry. Let's see how well the camera actually films footage while I drive. Oh, it's a little bit wobbly. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. We'll see. This way or this way, and the map seems to say it doesn't matter. That looks like it goes uphill, so I'm going to go this way. It's probably a bad decision. Okay, here we're still on a wash here, even though it says it's a county road. You can see we've got a big tree going across it, and then a barbed wire fence, and it looks like the road goes across, and I don't have to go on the other side of this barbed wire fence, but again, this tree's in the way. I might try and get it up this hill, maybe start back there and come up, go around this tree and see what happens, but I think I'm going to walk it first just to make sure it's worth it. So this is what the terrain looks like. Definitely not something the bike can handle. So here's the map. You can see where I am right here, and this thick white line is the county road supposedly, but is obviously not. And I want to get down to this green line here, the Forest Service road. So the trick that I'm going to use is I'm going to go to my satellite, and this is all offline. You can go in between the satellite and the roads with the contour lines. And you can see off to the west of me, there's another road, which is not marked on the official map, but it looks like other people had to form that road to go around what I'm looking at. They probably had to do this over a decade ago, I would guess. So anyways, it looks like it'll come down to another road, and then I can bring it down to this Forest Service road down here. Okay, so I came from down there. I'm winded because it's up a hill basically. I had to push the bike. And now I'm on the Forest Service road. You can see much more well-maintained than the county road by far. And then this is a little trail which should go down to the water, so I'm going to go that way. Okay, so you see my spot here, and to the northeast of me is the green line, and that's the road I'm on right now, and to the southwest is a blue line for water, but it's that dried up creek bed. But that's going to lead down to this river down here, and the road goes uphill, and the creek goes down, and I'd much rather go down, so we're going down. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but very sparkly. Basically this whole little area here, you can see it's coming from these rocks. So this is, I think, fool's gold, pyrite, something like that. But definitely a lot of it right here. Okay, we have come to a dead end. You can see past there, it looks like there's a field and some sort of bushes that were put there by people. And there's a no trespassing sign. So I'm pretty sure if this was all Forest Service or BLM, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, so here we are, almost to the river. I go like this. can see that definitely big open fields. The river is kind of going in between the fields. So someone's cultivating something there. Okay, so Free Roam is just an app. You can also, I'm using it as the browser app. So I'm actually running it kind of in a browser. And this is all offline information here. And you can see this green, dark green, that's all forest. And this is all BLM. So I'm right that I'm in those areas, but this lighter green is all a private property. So basically I'm going to have to, I think I'm just going to stash the bike somewhere and then walk around the property to the river. Okay, I'm just going to stash the bike right here, locked up. It's not likely anyone's going to come out here. And if they do, they probably don't have the capability of getting the bike back, especially since it's locked up. And now I just have to figure out how to get around this property. Okay, we got a problem. I went walking for a little ways and I put my backpack down for a minute and I was looking at my belt where I keep my bedroll, which I've now put onto the bike because I'm back at the bike. And I noticed the bedroll doesn't have anything in it. So my sleeping bag, my aluminum tarp, and my poncho were all in the middle there, and at some point on this adventure they fell out. So it could be along this trail somewhere, it could be on the highway that I was driving on. So now we're going to go on a different adventure than we imagined. Who knows what's going to end up happening, but I definitely can't sleep out here tonight without that. So even if I don't find it, if I don't find it, I got to go home. So here we go. Oh, thank goodness. I was freaking out a little bit. This is a very important piece of my gear. These are my wizard robes. Critical to staying warm in the winter. I better secure you better next time. Okay, strapped nice and tight. Hopefully nothing will come out, and I'll see it if it does since it'll be in front of me, in the front rack here. I'm going to go back up to that forest road and go east, and then there's another trail that should go down south to the river. Doesn't look like there's any private property on that one, so hopefully that time. If that doesn't work, then I think I'll probably backtrack to another place that I got in mind. It's a different river, but I think it runs also this time of year. And if that doesn't work, then I guess sleeping back at the farm tonight. Just came across a fairly common sight out here. But I don't know how many of you actually see this kind of thing or know that this is kind of the regular, because ranchers let their dudes roam out here in the public land, and sometimes a dude decides to take a nap and forgets to wake up. Probably useful for something, huh? Alright, so I've come to the end of this trail, and now I have to go downhill where there's not any trail of any kind. So it's basically steep cliffs to get down, probably about 300, 400 feet down to where the water is. So I'm going to leave the bike here locked up, kind of pulled off to the side of the trail where no one's really going to see it. Again, I'm pretty far out here, so even if someone comes across it, it's not like they're going to be able to do anything with it. So here we go. So this is the downhill I'm taking. The river cuts through this ravine here, and there's a creek that goes down here and then meets the river. So I'm going to be going down to the creek, following the dry creek to where it meets the river. Here's a bunch more of that pyrite. Look at this giant piece. Very flaky. It's kind of a attribute of it, all layered. Okay, I reached the creek bed from way up there. I just gotta go this way till I get to the river. I can hear the water down there, but somehow I gotta get down this cliff. We'll see how this goes. Okay, I made it down. I just went along this side. Kept my hands on the wall. Check out this blood red plant. I think it's just a vine which is climbing in the tree. See, the river is just right over here. water. Awesome. I guess I forgot to take the helmet off. That's fine though, because you know you're climbing on rocks, you might hit your head, or cougar might try and bite your skull. Maybe I should just wear this all the time, huh? Alright, gonna clean this water with some chlorine dioxide. Got the 2 pouches on my belt here. So thirsty, just want to straight drink it right away. Okay, this is the citric acid. I'm going to use the cap for the citric acid. This is the sodium chloride solution. Just put this cap aside. I'm going to put 6 drops in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the citric acid, 6 of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's starting to turn yellow, and can kind of smell chlorine gas coming off of it. I'm going to leave this for about 20-30 seconds-ish, shaking it around a little bit, and then pour it into the water that you want to clean. I'm just cleaning the cap out now. And I'll leave it there for a couple minutes. It doesn't really take very long to sanitize it. Nice and cool. One nice thing about having my bedroll attached to my belt here on the back is that anywhere I sit down, it's like a couch. Oh yeah, stretch the back. Okay, I'm gonna take a little nap and charge my phone. So this front pouch of my backpack has a folding solar panel in it and some cables. So we're just going to lay this out and plug the phone in. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the water, but I basically took, not really a nap, but sat down and relaxed for a good period of time, probably half an hour or so. And then I explored the area a little bit, so I'm going to show you around. But I just want to say this is the kind of place that that gets me excited about finding, because it's a place where people probably don't go very often. It's kind of difficult to get here, and you kind of have to have specific type of equipment. You couldn't drive a truck out here, right? So probably the only people who come around here are locals, and the locals probably don't come even to where I am specifically, because they can access the river much more easily in other places, right? So it's like a spot where I'm not going to be bothered, right? So like, for example, if I don't need to be wearing clothes because it's warm enough, then I prefer not to be wearing any clothes, and so not having to worry that someone might happen upon me and make them feel uncomfortable, just kind of avoiding that and not having to, basically getting rid of the worry in my mind so that I feel totally free to basically do whatever I want, as if I'm in my own house. Okay, so we actually kind of have different rooms. So over there is kind of where I came from. Here's kind of another big open space. I've got a shady area with my pack. This is my belt and my pack, and I keep that all together. And then so I'm okay with setting that stuff down, and that's a lot of my stuff. And moving a fair distance away because I don't think anyone's going to come, right? But I always keep a few things on me, okay? The most important thing that I keep on me is this, okay? Because first, I don't want anyone coming upon this and doing something with it, right? They might hurt me or someone else who's in my party if they find this and I'm not around it, or even someone in my party who's young will maybe come upon it, right? So there's all kinds of dangers with not having that with you. So always take it with you everywhere you go. And also, of course, if something happens, you know, while you're off exploring without all your stuff, you know, that's going to be a influential tool to have, you know, whether it's a human or an animal. You don't even have to hurt anyone. It's a very useful tool, just making it known. Look, you better put my bag down, buddy. You better put my bag down. That kind of stuff, okay? So anyways, I take that, and I also always take my staff, because the staff is great as a weapon, especially if you come across dogs. It's really great against dogs. And, you know, I haven't had to use it against coyotes, but coyotes are like small dogs, so I'm sure it'll work just fine. Even with a pack of them, okay? So I've handled packs of dogs, bigger than coyotes, with this thing, and not really stressed out about it, okay? It's just you know, whack them on the nose and they're freaked out, okay? And you got to identify the alpha if you're in a pack of dogs, or I assume a pack of coyotes too, and fuck him up. And you're cool, you're set at that point, okay? You're the alpha. Okay, so anyways, always have this. Also, it's really useful for getting across difficult terrain. Or if I wanted to hop this river, I could use this like a pole vault stick to get a little bit more distance in my jump. All kinds of things, why this is really useful. So the rest of the tour, again, that's my stuff, which I need to survive tonight. So if anyone were to try and steal that, that is threatening my life. Get me? Some sun area not too far away, where I can charge my devices of various kinds. And you may notice, oh, am I even on it? I'm not even on it. It would be hard for you to notice because I'm not on it. But there is a trail here, which is kind of low. So, I mean, humans probably come through here, but I'm having to duck down this whole time. There we go, and it turns here. So basically what it is an animal trail along the river, okay? So this is one reason why you wouldn't want to camp next to your water source. You know, I like to hang out here and come here at least to get water for the day, but I don't camp here. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But again, you can see the trail continues. And like this is a whole nother room. We've already passed several rooms. This is like a little room. And the river is quieter, more spread out, and you can just sit here in the shade and do nothing at all. So this is what I'm all about. Finding places like this is what gets me excited. This is why I do things like work on the Wizard's chocolate, the powdery mix, which, you know, I can use to just add water and it actually fills me up without having to take up much space or weight in my pack, and ideally lasts a long time. People get upset about it. They're like, oh, powder, you know, you should be eating whole foods and stuff like that. It's like, well, obviously there's a better diet if you're ignoring what I'm doing, like the way I'm trying to live. But in this situation, what I'm eating is actually very, very healthy. It's extremely healthy. So anyways, the reason I want to have a food like that is so that I can carry a long, basically that's the only limiting factor for how long I can stay out, is how much food. Because my gear, as long as I take care of it, gives me everything I need for season, right? I could stay in this spot for season. If I didn't need food, I would never need to leave this spot. So I think that the Wizard chocolate actually is going to work out pretty good as being a very condensed food that allows me to go out on foot for long periods of time. And therefore, I mean, kind of the goal there is that I do want to get rid of the bike at some point. Ideally, it is to sell it to someone who is worthy of it, because it's not just a bike, you know, it has a history, it has a soul in a way, you know, but not really, but I'm just saying, because it's appeared in lots of different videos. I've had it since 2018. It's gone through many different iterations and been on lots of adventures. And so if anyone were going to take it, you know, I'd want them to be like, to understand that it's a fucking cool bike. It's like a noble steed, you know, it's like I would be giving you, like Gandalf was giving you his horse, because he's not going to use his horse anymore, and he wants someone to take care of his horse and have his horse, but only if they are worthy. So anyways, if you think you're interested and also probably worthy, let me know. You know, I'm not totally sure I want to get rid of the bike, but not needing to go in for food very often. Like if I was able to carry like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of food with me in my backpack, that unlocks my ability to really get to places, really explore places that no one ever goes, ever. Pretty much ever, because of how long it takes to get there, and that you have to go on foot. You have to. So, anyways, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I was also going to talk more about why you don't sleep next to a river. So, first of all, the river is nice to listen to, but when you're trying to sleep, actually it can be kind of loud. And in my experience, and I've heard other people say, you know, it can make it hard to sleep, especially if it is, you know, even like this level of loud can make it hard to sleep, okay? It's also colder. You're down in a valley where cold air will flow because it's lower and heat rises, right? So cold air will drop to the lower areas, which will be in the valleys, which will be exactly where the river is flowing. So you're in a higher humidity place because of the river, but also because of how the atmosphere works and how everything flows. So another reason not to be camped by water is because animals come to water at night. They come to, you know, water at night during the day, but it's like I've never really had a animal be like, if like let's say one came up on the trail here, and he saw me as broad daylight, and he's like, he'd be able to tell I was here from a ways off, right? I've never had an animal come up to me, but at night, especially I'm sleeping, I'm not making any noise. I might be, you know, 20 feet away from where he's coming, but you know, you're probably going to get animals going along this trail, right? So, and a river is often going to have a little game trail like this next to it, okay? So basically that's another reason you're basically increasing your odds of interacting with animals of all kinds, and even animals like elk can kill you if you get stampeded by them, okay? Or stomped by them or whatever, you know, they're big, heavy animals, a couple of stompings and you're not going to get up. So another reason why the loudness of the river is a problem is because you can't hear what's going on, right? So if it's quiet, then if any animal is nearby and walking, you're going to hear it. But if there's a river, they can be pretty loud, and you wouldn't hear it, right? At least you wouldn't wake up from it, right? It wouldn't be different enough from the loud noise that's already going on that your body would wake you up. So, and also if you're in a kind of a long-term survival type situation, let's say you found a spring out in the middle of the desert, you don't think any humans ever going to visit it. It may be a good idea to stay there, especially if you have numbers and you think you could defend it. But if you're just like one person, you're like, hey, if like a group of 3 people found this place, you know, I wouldn't really be able to keep them away from taking it from me, right? In a way which would be dangerous to my life, right? Because they may want to get rid of me just because I know about the spring. So if you make a habit of, if you know where water is and you want to find a more permanent place to reside, find water that is, you know, maybe a half an hour walk away from where you are staying most of the time, okay? Because it's very likely that anyone's going to come out to these kind of remote little offshoots, you know, that are within 20 to 30 minute walk of the water source, okay? Unless they're staying there and they're for weeks or months and they really get to exploring, okay? But you'll be able to keep your eye on them throughout that time to know if they're going to get to that, or whether if they're just there for a couple of days and then they leave, you know. So I think it's better also for avoiding interaction with the humans is to get in the habit of, even if you think you're at a place where no one's ever going to come by, it's still probably a good habit to be in where you're like, yeah, but I'm never going to, you know, spend most of the day at a water source, and especially I'm not going to sleep next to it, okay? So I crossed the river, which is over there, and there's this big open field It's kind of hard to see. I'm like right in the middle, so there's half over here, half over there, and the sun kind of makes it hard to see. But it's like a big open field, basically. And even less likely for anyone to come across you, at least humans, because they would have to cross the river. And it has a cool view. And up on that ledge would probably be, you know, back a little ways from it. Probably be a good place to camp, because it would take a little while to get up there. Yeah, you would have a good view of what's going on down here. So I'm heading back down, and this is where I had to crawl through to get back to the river. Now, I'm going to walk barefoot without falling. Right? Right. Nice place. Made it. Okay, I'm all loaded up. I'm gonna head back. Basically, I'm gonna leave the water source at this point. I drank all the water in that I had, and then I filled it up again, and now it's full. And that'll allow me to eat dinner, right? Because I'll just add the Wizard chocolate powder to it, and that's my dinner. So I'm probably just going to go all the way back to the bike. That way I'm by it just in case anything happens. And also I can charge my phone, you know, because I didn't get much sun because I spent most of the time in the shade today. But I'll be able to charge my phone. I'll be next to the bike, and I'll be able to use tomorrow to get right on the bike in the morning and go to a new place to check out. So we'll see what that ends up being. But first I got to go climb a sheer ledge. So we'll see how that goes. So we're back at the cliff. Just noticed there's this big scary rock right above you, just hanging over you. Anyways, you know, if I was a real, you know, vlogger, I guess what you would call it. I can't call myself a YouTuber because I'm not on YouTube. Basically, I would put my camera on a tripod and I would film myself climbing up, which would force me to have to climb back down, get my phone, and climb back up again. So, the things I do for you guys. Died. Check out all the plant life around these rocks. Some kind of orangish lichen. I think lichen's half plant, right? Here's some more. Different kind. There's a long-spined cactus. There's a couple of short-spined cactuses. Look at that. Looks like a torus, like a magnetic field. There's some more different lichen. I guess this is the same as that lichen. And then, oh, I thought there was more. Oh yeah, this over here. Check out this stuff. I've never seen this before. I think it seems like lichen. Oh yeah, there's a hole here. Like something lives in there. Don't stick your hand in. So we've got a juniper tree here with lots of ripe juniper berries. These are often here, but they're often not very tasty. I think it's kind of a short window where they're actually kind of tasty to eat, and that's where they are right now. And this is what one of the seeds looks like after you eat it. I think this may be the first juniper berry that I ever had that actually tasted this sweet. It actually is like pretty close to a berry. And I think this is what they make gin out of, is juniper berries. I could be wrong about that. So there's the what do you call it, a ravine or the valley where that river was flowing. Very steep cliff up that way. Another hill over there. And I'm climbing this hill. And this hill's so steep, you can't really tell from where we are, but you can tell I'm not even in the sun, right? And it's, you know, it's probably mid to late afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm back out on top. You can see the sun still way in the sky. It's kind of windy up here. Nice view. The bike's somewhere out there, so let's get looking. Oh, there she is. She sure is pretty. Maybe I shouldn't sell her. There's these cans all over the place. I don't know. Do people still use that type of top? Let's see what this guy is. Falstaff. Sounds like a wizard's name. Okay, it's time for some dinner. So first I need my titanium spork, which I keep in this little bag with all my tent stakes. Oops. And that bag is falling apart. Hello? So much in here, it can be hard to find. Did I bring my spork? Oh, we have to do the pull everything out. We gotta pull everything out. Oh, now the spork comes. Jeez. Alright, now we got a titanium water bottle full of cleaned chlorine dioxide water. And we got our bag of chocolate powder, which is a mix of all kinds of different stuff. That's good for a lot of reasons. And then we got our oil bottle, which is on our belt, which has avocado oil, flaxseed oil, and caprylic acid, which is MCT, medium chain triglycerides from coconut. So we're going to open this, which is a waterproof, ultralight bag, which rolls up. Smells good. I'm going to open this up. And then I do either 6 or 9 scoops, depending on how much fullness I want. So that's about a scoop. I'm making a mess. Probably a bad idea because animals will smell it. But it doesn't seem like animals are attracted to this. Maybe because of the chocolate. I don't know. At least dogs aren't. What number are we at? I think we're at 4 or 5. We're going to say we're at 5. 6. 7. 8. And this is basically mostly pea protein and coconut flour and oat flour. And then there's all kinds of different things, different types of fiber and prebiotic. And then we pour, oop, that was a lot. That was a lot of oil. But the nice thing about the way that this is made, especially since it has sunflower lecithin in it, if you shake it up and you leave it there long enough, then the oil kind of gets into everything, which is kind of the better way to be digesting oil. That's usually how oil comes in a biological system. So it's easier for the body to digest if it's spread out amongst everything. So I just shake this up. There's a little titanium whisk that I made, which is just sitting in there, and it helps break everything up. And it can be nice to drink this warm, but it's totally unnecessary. So I just leave this for a couple minutes. I mean, I could really just drink it right now, but it thickens up, and so it'll make me feel more full if I wait longer. Look at all this extra work you made me do. Dinner time. Cheers. It never gets old. It's so good. I've been working out for a long time, so it's taken me a long time to get to this point. but it's good. Alright, it's getting to be about bedtime, starting to get cool. So I'm going to pull out basically my base layer, which is 3 different layers. So there's a thick wool layer, there's basically the same type of thing, it's a base layer but it's made of polyester, which kind of protects this and adds extra warmth. And then there's the waffle layer, which helps wick things away and is more sturdy. This is easy to mend and also is pretty durable. Like even if you did get a hole, it sews up really, really well. So this will last you a really long time. So I have that 3 layers for the pants. Here's the 2 layers for the shirt, and I'm already wearing the outer one. So I'll just slip this underneath. And I'll probably put on actually more clothes. It's gonna get cold tonight. So of course I'll have my pants on, which I already have, so I'll be putting the rest underneath, and then I have a fleece jacket. Okay, and then we're going to put out our bed rolls, so we just need to loosen these up a little bit. Okay, so I just roll it out. This is my sleeping pad, which works really, really well, and then I just roll this thing out and unfold it once. And this is an ultra warm sleep system with an outer waterproof layer. So basically I don't even need a shelter, right? So this is like a bivy sack. This is my poncho, also my raincoat, and I can put it up as a shelter if I want to, but there's not really any reason to, because this is perfectly good, especially since it's not going to rain tonight. So then I just open this up, and my sleeping bag is I just climb in. Probably not gonna quite go to bed yet, but I would climb in, and then I'd use this bag here, which attaches to the top of my sleeping bag. I put it right here, and then I go to sleep. So before I go to bed, I'm going to get my phone charging. So this is I can't remember what they call this, but basically it connects to this battery, converts it, because this is a 54.6 volt battery, and I need to be running 12 volt like off of a car. So this is like a cigarette lighter right here. So this thing is converting the 54.6 to 12.6 volts, which I can customize. And now I can plug in this just normal USB cigarette lighter charger, and I can charge 2 different devices at once off of a huge amount of storage, right? This holds so much energy. So basically I could basically be running my phone probably for a couple of weeks of a full charge here if I wasn't using it for anything else. So plus I can charge anything else that's USB, or honestly, you know, anything that can run off of this, although probably not like I used to have a USB crock pot, which was really cool when I lived in my truck, but this thing probably couldn't handle that much amperage. So, but there's a lot you can do with just this. Okay, and then when I'm getting ready for bed, my pillow is sitting here, right here, where my belt is. So my belt has my knife, my gun, lots of different things. And I wanted to show you guys I have made a change to what's on the belt. Normally right here would be my penny whistle, but I just felt like it was more important that I had something practical. I don't know, maybe I'll switch it back. But also I used to have a USB flashlight that was a headlamp with straps, but the straps kind of stretched out. It was pretty nice, and if I can maybe find some replacement straps, maybe I'll go back to that. But it doesn't fit in any of the containers I have for my belt, and it seems like you really want your flashlight on your belt, okay? So I went back to the old flashlight that I used to use several years ago, which is still super good. It uses an 18650 battery. It can do all kinds of different colors. So when it's dark out, you know, if I don't want to disrupt my melatonin production so I can go to sleep. Plus I can do other colors too, which can be fun. And there's like ways there's ways to do lots of different things. Like I can make that do an SOS pattern, and I think you can make it even do like a police light type thing where it cycles between those 3 colors really quickly. So anyways, this thing's pretty nice, and it is much nicer to have it handy, right? Because I always had to keep that other one, you know, stashed in a pocket somewhere, and I wasn't consistent about where I put it. So anyways, no more penny whistle. Might come back someday, but I'm pretty happy with the flashlight being there instead.
Well, it probably doesn't look that dark to you, but the sun has gone down at this point, and one of the things I've kind of learned when living outside is when the sun goes down, it's pretty much time to get in bed because it starts getting cold, and you tend to be kind of stationary at night, and so you kind of want to have all of your warm stuff all around you, so not just your clothes, but also your sleeping stuff. So I think it's about bedtime, and I think I'll probably just cut this video off now. I think it's probably pretty long at this point. It's probably almost an hour or maybe 45 minutes or something like that. So this will be a single video, and maybe there will be another adventure tomorrow. We'll see. So have a good night. Well, I guess you may not be going to bed right now, but I'm going to have a good night. And tonight, if you survive the rest of the day, you have a good night too. All right. See you later.